Welcome to the Cosmic Savannah with Dr. Jacinta Delhaize,
Dr. Daniel Kanema,
Dr. Tumelo
and not a doctor, Francois Campo.
Each episode, we'll be giving you a behind-the-scenes look at world-class astronomy and astrophysics happening under African skies.
Let us introduce you to the people involved, the technology we use, the exciting work we do, and the fascinating discoveries we make.
Sit back and relax and join us on a safari through the skies.
Welcome back.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
We're back in studio.
The new studio, a very professional video studio.
We're at UCT, at the University of Cape Town, where we have the one-button podcast studio available to us. Very fancy. And you can now see us on YouTube. You can see us on YouTube, not just listen to us on YouTube.
I don't know which camera to wave to every time.
There are a lot of
the middle
cameras.
one.
I think there's
All of
three. So just 1, 2, 3, and you can...
We're really not used to this profession.
No.
Yes. No, the whole video thing with the podcast, it's weird. But tell us if we look the way we sound.
Yeah.
It's always weird when you see someone that you've been hearing on a podcast or something. You're like, that's not what I imagine they look like at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
Please
also,
change.
I don't sound the way I sound. I mean, that also is a thing.
What?
What?
Do you not sound the way you sound?
What?
Like,
What do you mean?
Oh, you mean
like when I
audio
listen
sounds
to the
different?
podcast, I'm like, who's that? It's like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
sounds very different in my head.
Yeah, I can
you
hear
have
I can hear my accent, my Australian accent when I re-listen. I'm like, oh.
We know.
Hey.
I'm joking. But yes, I feel like I have quite a high-pitched voice, but apparently not.
You have a very deep voice.
But maybe a lot of people actually know Dan already. I mean, you're quite famous.
Am I?
Yeah.
I've been on TV quite a bit.
Oh, don't let his head grow any bigger.
I don't know. It won't fit in the earphones. But I don't know. I don't know if it's the same listenership.
We've got quite special listeners here. I also don't think I sound the same.
You know?
No.
I think you sound exactly like you sound.
Really?
Yeah.
I hope I don't sound annoying.
Oh.
But yeah, welcome back. We are excited to be here today and we have a really exciting interview lined up.
Don't look at me. I feel like it's weird for me to introduce it.
Well,
Because it involves
it's yours.
It's the Jacinta show. Again.
At least like throw the ball to me first.
Right. So Jacinta, you took your students to Oxford through your research group called RADHIANCE. So first question, what does RADHIANCE stand for?
It's a good question. Yes. So thank you, Francois.
And
for...
did ChatGPT come up with it?
Yes, definitely did. Yeah. Okay, so thank you for asking the question, Francois. I guess we'll start with, like what does an academic actually do, right? So I am a lecturer and a researcher at the University of Cape Town in the astronomy department. So I lecture third year undergraduate extragalactic and galactic astronomy, but that's only in second semester. And that's only like a small fraction of my job. So what do I do the rest of the time is research into astronomy. And to do that, I have a research group of postgraduate students. So I have at the moment 5 postgraduate students, 4 masters and 1 part-time PhD. And yeah, we form a research group, which I called RADHIANCE just because I wanted to give us a cute name.
ChatGPT.
Yes. Yeah. I spent an inordinate amount of time chatting with ChatGPT to try and come up with some sort of acronym while I was definitely meant to be writing my lectures. And so it's spelled RADHIANCE, and I do pronounce the in H.
Yeah.
I was about to say.
That's an Australian thing.
For our non-Australian listeners,
Yes.
that's an H.
Even though...
Also, that was very much a ChatGPT 2.5. I mean, these days, we should run it by it again and see what it thinks.
Yeah, it
of
was
itself.
it was one of the OG kind of ChatGPTs. But anyway, so it's RADHIANCE with an H in it. And I chose that one in particular. Okay, ChatGPT got me there like 70% of the way, but then I finished it off. RADHIANCE because RADHIANCE is about light, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's what my research is about, is detecting light from distant galaxies, all different kinds of light. And the other reason why I called it RADHIANCE is because one of my favorite authors is Brandon Sanderson, and he has the whole book series of the Stormlight Archive, and in there's like these people called Radiance, and I wanted to be a superhero, so I called our group Radiance. It stands for Radio-Based Analysis and Detection of H1, AGN, Star Formation, and Their Cosmic Evolution, which is highly contrived, and I love it. I find it hilarious.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Put down your cards and say it again.
I will. I hope you heard me putting my cards down. Radio-Based Analysis and Detection of H1, AGN, Star Formation, and Their Cosmic Evolution.
Yes.
Fabulous.
Well done.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Don't pick your
I didn't
cards
know it
up
was a
again.
Brandon Sanderson reference. Actually, quite cool.
Yeah.
I don't know
Anyway,
who that is.
Yeah. I'm just like, okay.
okay, you and I can have a chat about this later, Francois. We won't.
But
bore our
it's
listeners.
definitely quite exciting to see you at this point in your career where you have like a group of students. Now you can name actually a group. You just don't have one student that you're dealing with all the time. And also get to take them to places where they can explore their research. So tell us about
Exactly.
that.
Yeah. So, I mean, the reason why I can officially call us the Radiance Research Group is because we are funded now. So part of my job now is also to apply for grants. That was a bit of a surprise. I wasn't trained for that in my career. But so, you know, because you become a researcher and you're like, okay, thank you for employing the university. Where do I get the money to, like, you know, do anything? Go to conferences, send my students places, you know, go on research trips, etc. There isn't any, or there's very little. I'm jesting. There's very little. And so what you have to do is you have to go and apply for research grant money. And there's a few different pots of that. And I applied for a big one last year called from the NRF, the National Research Foundation. And I was very excited just a couple of months ago to find out that I got this big 3-year research grant.
Oh, well done.
So thank you very much. This is my first big one. And it means I can support my whole research group to do all of the things they need to do their PhDs and their masters. And I can hire a postdoctoral researcher, which is kind of the job that you have when you finish your PhD. So if you want to work with me, look out for the job advert later in the year.
You might have to do some podcasting.
It may be, yeah, almost certainly, as you will hear in the rest of this episode. So I applied for another grant called the Africa Oxford Initiative, and we managed to get that funding of £5,000 to take the whole research group at the time to the University of Oxford to work with our collaborators there. And so we're going to hear today, I chatted with the other members of my research group while we were in Oxford about the experience.
I think that was really amazing because for some of them, it was even their first time actually leaving the country and experiencing a different world, if I can call it that. So I'm really excited to hear what they tell us about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, let's hear from them.
Hello again from the University of Oxford. With me now are students Leyya Stockenstroom, Tumelo Mangena, and Ndivhuwo Netshiavha. Welcome to the Cosmic Savannah. Please tell us who you are, where you're from, what do you do?
Hi, I'm Leyya Stockenstroom. I was born and grew up in Johannesburg, and then I moved over to Cape Town to start my undergrad, and I essentially never left. Now I'm doing my last year master's with Jacinta on star formation histories and H1 galaxies.
Hi everyone, I'm Tumelo Mangena, originally from Limpopo, which is the north of South Africa. I'm currently based in Cape Town, doing part-time PhD at University of Cape Town, supervised by Jacinta, and I'm a full-time employee at Sarau, working as a software engineer. And yeah, my topic is about H1 stacking. We're looking into using radio data from MeerKAT to basically compare the H1 content of the AGNs and non-AGNs.
Hello everyone, my name is Ndivhuwo, all the way from Venda. I did my degree at the University of Venda and then came to UCT through the NAS program. And then I'm doing my second year master's. I'm searching for giant radio galaxies for the mighty survey.
So can you tell our listeners where you are at the moment and what you're doing?
We're in Oxford! Woo! Woo!
Yeah, we're in Oxford University. Yeah, we're visiting for 2 weeks. It's so great here.
We are at Oxford with top scientists. I'm loving it here.
So lots of enthusiasm. That's great. So you've been here for nearly a week now. I'm about to head back to Cape Town to start my lecturing semester, and you will all stay here for one extra week. I'm very jealous. How have you been enjoying it so far?
It's been great. I've been meeting top astrophysicists, and then I've been getting those ideas that I could just read on the papers, then I wouldn't understand them. But yeah, I'm with top scientists that are explaining everything clearly. I'm loving it.
Ndivhuwo has the biggest smile I've ever seen on his face, which is awesome. So yeah, it's really exciting to be here and meet, some really, really top level astrophysicists, and to be inspired to do your work and to be able to ask questions and have them explained by the person who wrote the paper in the first place. How about you, Tumelo?
Yeah, it's been great. I love it here, and obviously as a part-time student, and this is my great opportunity to really invest into making a progress on my work. And I'm meeting a lot of people here, the people obviously that are very closely working with what we're working on. And also, so it's such a very conducive environment to work on, since obviously you have people that are working closely with what you're working on, so you can easily ask questions when you have any questions. And yeah.
Yeah, it's been really great to be here. There's so many. I mean, you spend all of the time reading papers from people, and then you come here and you get to see their faces and ask them questions directly, which has been really awesome. It's really been great to also see how collaborative everyone is and how willing they are to share their knowledge, no matter how high rank they are or how many publications there are. Everyone is sharing knowledge, and I think that's one of the best parts about being an astronomer, is that you can just bask in the knowledge and get all of it. So being here has been so cool because you can kind of just pop into someone's office and ask a quick question and have a chat. So it's been awesome.
You can just bathe in the expertise.
Exactly.
So when I first came here as a student myself 15 years ago now, I was so overwhelmed and so intimidated. Have you found it scary coming here?
Well, I've been here before, so this is my second time here. I came here for a week last year because I was at a conference in England, so I came on my way back. And I remember the first time I was here, I was very intimidated. I think Oxford has such a huge name behind it. So you come here and you're like, oh my gosh, all of these people are super smart. And like, they're going to think that I am an imposter who stole my degree. And sometimes I feel that way. But everyone's really nice here and really welcoming. And I think that's helped feel more at home, I guess, for the small time that we're here.
Yeah, I think at first, it was a bit intimidating. I mean, knowing that you're amongst the smartest people in the world. I mean, to me, I think it's such a privilege that we are surrounded by these people at this moment, and we're really taking this opportunity and using it to the maximum. So, yeah, it's so great. But yeah, I think we're kind of settling in, and maybe we are part of smartest people in the world.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear. None of this imposter syndrome. So well done, Leyya, for moving past that anyway. And I have been very impressed with actually all of you for the way you've really taken full advantage of this opportunity. And, you might be nervous inside, but you haven't really shown it. You haven't been shy. You've gone to people's offices, knocked on their door, asked them direct questions, which is exactly the right thing to do to really maximize your output of your visit here. How about you, Ndivhuwo?
The imposter syndrome, that is the thing. But I know that they understand the background that we are from. But they don't judge us they are just trying to understand us and then help us to understand the science. That is the thing. But the imposter syndrome is there, you'll always look at the other person and be like, hey, he's an Oxford student. And then, but you know that you are also smart. Yeah.
Exactly. So believing in yourself, right? This is the big test here. we've thrown you in the deep end, but if you can swim here, you can swim anywhere, right? Not literally, but so what are your goals while you're here? Sort of, what's your purpose for being here?
Part of the main reason why we're here, it's mostly that we have collaborators, or rather forming collaboration with the people or scientists in Oxford University. We do have course supervisors residing here, so it only makes sense that we spend some time with them to do some work with them, and
we were tired of Zoom meetings. Yeah, you know, like for science, when you're just having a Zoom meeting with someone, you might not really get what they're saying. So in person, you really understand everything that they're saying. So it's really helpful, and then we are learning a lot. And then,
we're here to form collaborations and see our co-supervisors. I think seeing people face to face is always such a different experience, and it makes it so much easier to collaborate with people in science, and hopefully also encourage them to come to South Africa as well and visit us sometimes and present at our conferences. So we're just trying to foster as much collaboration as possible while we're here.
Absolutely, and shout out to our funders, the Africa Oxford grant, which helped us financially to get here, and I think we're kind of achieving everything that that the grant is meant to achieve, which is to really catalyse collaborations between our University of Cape Town and the University of Oxford. So, what are your hopes for the week coming up when you get to get rid of me and go wild in Oxford?
Well, I'm just hoping to continue collaborating with people, meeting some of a few people were quite busy this week, so meeting with those people, and just hopefully forming a bond with some of the scientists here so that they remember us and they remember the University of Cape Town, so that they think of us when they travel, So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we're going to miss you, Jacinta. So, yeah, so having more time here, it's obviously going to give us an advantage that we're going to meet more people, and we're hoping to spend time to complete part of our tasks and work and seeing London, or rather UK, or Oxford.
every minute here is precious. So, even though we have met them and then they explain some of the stuff, we still feel like we still need some time with them. So, they're full of knowledge. So, we think if we've got more time here, then we will be able to get more out of them.
Tumelo, you mentioned that you want to see more of Oxford and the UK and London. What are your impressions so far? And I know this is one of your second time in the UK, and Ndivhuwo's first time, and your and Leyya's second time. What are the differences, and how do you like England so far?
England is great. I think I like it. I mean, people are friendly, and obviously people are kind of obeying rules more than we do. A stop sign is a stop sign here. You stop. Anyway, it's a great place actually. Weather-wise, it's not too different from where we come from, but it's good. And we're planning to go see places and meet people, and like the food and other things. So
What do you mean weather-wise it's the same as where we're from?
Yeah, so I mean, generally speaking, the weather is not stable as in Cape Town. It's just always changing, but obviously South African weather, it's the best. So anyway, but it's not too different.
I feel like you're being very diplomatic, Tumelo. Tell us what you really feel.
Anyway, well, generally speaking, I would say it's a great place. I like it. I like it a lot, honestly. I wish we could, spend more time. I think I would learn a lot, not only academic side, but just going out there and meeting people and and seeing, English culture and different places.
How about you, Ndivhuwo?
It's my first time here. About the weather, I don't agree with Tumelo. It was very cold at Cape Town. So I'm loving it here. It is hot. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we are here in the Northern Hemisphere. It's summer, and we did come from winter in Cape Town. Usually I would say that winter in Cape Town is similar to summer in Oxford, but we have had a hot day today, and there's lots of sun, so we're grateful for that. How about you, Leyya?
I'm just excited to see more of Oxford and also see more of the culture. I want to catch a play while I'm here and hopefully see a few art museums and stuff like that. The differences, I don't agree with Tumelo at all. I think the weather here is very strange. And Cape Town, I think, is a little bit more predictable than Oxford. Like, Oxford, you'll have a random storm for like 5 minutes and then it's sunshine again. And then 5 minutes later, it's freezing. So it's really unstable. But yeah, today has been very warm and sunny, and it's been also amazing to walk. We don't get to walk much in Cape Town, or if you want to walk, you have to be in a specific area. So it's cool to be able to walk anywhere here. So I'm really taking advantage of that while we're here.
And I love that it's light until 10 p.m. here.
Yes.
Yeah, that was actually amazing to see. That 10 p.m. it's still, you still can like literally walk, and it's very light still there. So in Cape Town, obviously, it's not like that. But yeah, I think people disagreeing with me, it's fine. I'm happy to converge. Yeah, but they have a very long day, so that's good.
I will say that having the long day is a bit tricky, because then you end up staying up late, and then by the time you go to sleep, it's like 12, and then you wake up at 8 o'clock and you're like, oh no, I regret my choices. Yeah. So it has been a bit difficult to balance that, but it's awesome to have the sun for so long.
Yeah, I agree. I keep forgetting. Keep not noticing that it's time to go home, and then overworking, and then being like, why am I so burnt out? Work-life balance.
Yeah, and I feel very refreshed. When you are just there in Cape Town like the whole year, you can feel very tired. Or when you are just in your office. So when we came here, it is change of environment. We feel refreshed, and then I feel very productive.
Yeah, it's really a good thing to change up your environment every now and again, and I agree with you totally. Okay, so now we've talked all about why you're here and your impressions of being here in the UK, in Oxford. So do you want to tell our listeners now what your actual science is about? What's the science that you're working on while you're here?
So I am looking at galaxies and their star forming history. So basically how we do that is by if we look at a galaxy at different lights, so infrared, radio, optical, we can get different information about the galaxies, and then putting all of that information together can kind of give us an idea of how this galaxy was formed and kind of how the history of this galaxy, and it's the stars inside of this galaxy and their history. So I do that, and once I have that information, I can compare that to the hydrogen content of the galaxy, and hopefully find some sort of correlation between the two.
Awesome. Well done. And you are towards the end of your master's now, right?
Yes, I'm in my final year. I'm really hoping to submit by the end of this year, so keep your fingers crossed for me, please. But yeah, I think we'll get there.
Fingers and toes crossed.
Yes.
How about you, Ndivhuwo?
I'm searching for giant radio galaxies, not just radio galaxies, but giant radio galaxies. Like 1,000 of normal size radio galaxies are known, but only a handful of giant radio galaxies are known. So we would like to know why is that. So we think it is because giant radio galaxies are very faint, and then the past surveys were limited in sensitivity. So now we've got MeerKAT, which has a very good sensitivity, and then we are discovering a lot of them. And then we hope to study AGN activities, hosting galaxy properties, and then we can be able to study more about the universe.
So Tumelo, can you tell us what your research is about?
My research, it's mainly about trying to understand the hydrogen content of the different types of galaxies. We're only focusing on the active galactic nuclei and star-forming galaxies. Basically, what we do is that since those galaxies, they are very, very far away from us, so the hydrogen can be very difficult to detect directly using our telescopes. So what we do is we try to observe many of them, and then we try to then combine their hydrogen information together using the statistical tool called stacking. In that way, then we are able to get a statistical detection for different types of galaxies. So we are trying to then compare their hydrogen content, and we're trying to understand why are they different if we find that they're different.
Cool. Why would they be different? Do you have any ideas?
Yeah, so basically each and every active galactic nucleus will contain a supermassive black hole that keeps on accreting the matter around it. And because of that, then we actually suspect that there will be some processes that would potentially sweep out the gas or ionize the gas around it. So we generally suspect that the hydrogen content in the AGNs would either be low compared to in a star-forming galaxy because of those processes that are happening in the active galactic nuclei.
And how do you feel about your research? Do you enjoy it?
I love my work. I feel like a little time traveler at times because I get to look at the universe in the past. And I think that's really, really cool. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it comes with its challenges. And there are some days where I do not enjoy it. But overall, I really do love my work, yes.
I do love it. Radio galaxies are AGNs. So AGNs are not really well understood. So it's very exciting to study something that like there is no general knowledge about them. So you can easily make breakthroughs because a lot is not known about them. So I'm loving it a lot.
Yeah, a lot of people think that we already know everything there is to know about the universe, but that's not true at all. We know nothing, right?
Yeah, that is very true. Yeah, maybe we can have a Nobel Prize.
Why not? How about you, Tumelo?
Yeah, I just feel like we were actually, very lucky we were born at the right time because it's the time when there's a lot of kind of technological developments and advancement on the telescopes, or rather the instruments that we use to study astronomy. I'd like to believe that previously it's been a bit challenging to do astronomy, but right now we've got no reason not to discover or to understand the universe much, much better. So yeah, I love my work. It's so amazing to understand something that's out of this world. It's just amazing.
Well, I am glad that you all are at least enjoying or saying you're enjoying your research. And I agree with you, Tumelo. We're very privileged to be in South Africa and to have access to the MeerKAT telescope, to SALT, to all of these other instruments, which are, world leading. And I think part of the reason why we have this podcast is to tell other people, hey, look, do you know that South Africa is a world leader in radio astronomy in the world, literally. So it's very exciting. Thanks for taking time to speak with us, even though you're very busy chatting to important people here in Oxford. Do you have any final messages for listeners?
The thing that I want to leave you with is it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, the color of your skin, your race, your gender. You can accomplish anything you put your mind to. And if there's something that you want to accomplish, sit down, work on it, and eventually you'll get there. Don't let anything discourage you.
Where I'm from, astronomy is not really known that side. So like when people ask you, what are you studying? And then you say astronomy. They don't really understand what you are studying. So I would advise people to do astronomy. At first, you might not love it. I did not love it at first. I'm falling in love with it every day.
Oh, that's wonderful advice. Thank you, Ndivhuwo.
I would like to say to the listeners, especially the young ones, that we have such a privilege in where we're residing in South Africa, because then the SKA, which is a square kilometer array, it's a very gigantic radio astronomical instrument that would be very, very great to use in learning or try to understand the universe. So yeah, if you're interested in science or science stream, I would encourage you to go on and pursue that so that you can take advantage of the upcoming SKA instrument. So yeah.
Right. Thank you for those. And it sounds like you had a great trip and they really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
How was it for you?
Yeah, good. I mean, I've been going to Oxford since 2009.
Wow. I
Was
still
my
in school.
first
Oh, wow.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah.
I was 9.
Oh. This hurts.
Oh, no.
I was already doing my PhD.
Oh,
Wait, what generation are you guys? We're millennials.
I'm still millennial.
Are you still a younger millennial?
I'm the
Okay.
end of the millennial.
I'm Gen Z.
Oh, cute.
I feel like I'm like the first millennial.
Yeah, we're elder
you-
millennials.
Yeah.
Elder
I'm
millennials.
like,
I might be the one ahead of that. I don't know what. Baby boomer or something.
No, you would be, what, Gen X? No, you're too young for Gen X, I think.
I don't know.
Anyway, we digress.
Yeah, I'm an old soul.
Always have been.
But yeah, I mean, so like great to hear their impressions of Oxford.
Yeah.
It's an amazing place. It's it's steeped with history. I had a great fact the other day. Oxford is older than the Aztec pyramids.
What?
Really?
Really?
Oxford is older than the Aztec pyramids.
You mean as a learning institution?
Yes.
What?
Because it's been there for what? Like it's well over 1,000 years. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they haven't.
What?
Uh-huh.
Whoa.
Good fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we need to fact check that, or are we quite certain?
Well, I read it in the paper, so it must be right.
Oh, it must be correct then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Unless ChatGPT. Oh, yeah. We'll be fact checking that.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was so exciting, and I loved. It was a really exciting moment for me, right? Because this is the first time I've been able to take students and be the host, right?
Yeah.
And take them on a trip, and that was like. It was just felt amazing to be able to give back to the next generation, to see them having the same experience I had when I was at that stage. You know, when I was first year PhD student, I went to Oxford for the first time. It was one of my first times ever leaving the country because I was in Australia. We're surrounded by ocean. You know, hard to get to another country. I made every
planes, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's a long journey, right? I made every single travel mistake you could possibly make, including getting kicked out of the country the first time for not having the right visa or any visa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was this whole thing, but no, it was always been so exciting. And I've been working with our collaborator, Matt Jarvis there, and some other collaborators there ever since then. And it really made such a massive difference to my career. And the University of Oxford in particular has been heavily involved with preparations for the SKA, right? And so I've been collaborating a lot with Western Australia, where I'm from, and with South Africa, where I ended up. And actually, I would attribute my time at Oxford to the reason why I ended up in South Africa, because they were, all of my friends there were either Australian or South African. I barely got to make any English friends because there was this big push from the person who was my supervisor at the time, Steve Rawlings, to build up the radio astronomy community in South Africa. And he kept telling me how amazing it was here. And eventually I came to visit and I was like, oh my gosh, it is so amazing in Cape Town, and like nothing I had ever imagined as well. And so that's why ultimately I ended up moving here. So it was through Oxford and through collaborations and through different perspectives and through seeing a wider worldview, I think. And so I really hope that my students I hope that that's something they got out of this experience, was just to broaden their horizons and broaden their mindsets and as people, but also scientifically. And I hope that that's what they got out of it. Yeah.
It does sound like they did recognize that we do have the best weather still.
Well, that's correct.
It's very useful to go to Oxford for that. And just
the only thing I would argue with there is that Perth actually has the best weather. I mean, it does have 300 days of sunshine a year, and we don't have the mountain for the microclimates. So
But you also don't have
we also don't have the mountain, which is true.
Just said that, yeah.
In this group, in Radiance, in the group, is everyone studying H1 and galaxies and H1 star formation? What are those things and what do they actually mean?
No, it's a good question. So the name kind of does encompass it all, but explaining it all. So we've got, there's a few different aspects. So my research and that of my group is all about looking at the connection between gas in galaxies, what the supermassive black holes at the centers of galaxies are doing, and the formation of stars in galaxies. So we know that the most abundant element in the universe is hydrogen, right? And a very common form that hydrogen can be in is the form of gas. And we call it neutral hydrogen because it's cold, it's cool, it's still got its electron because a hydrogen atom is made of one proton and one electron. And when it has its proton, its electron, it's called H1. So the symbol, the chemical symbol for it is the letter H and the Roman numeral 1. Okay, we say H1. And we use that as shorthand to mean just hydrogen gas that's floating out there in space, right? Which sounds kind of boring, and it sort of is by itself. Fortunately, it glows very slightly in radio wavelengths, which you can see with a radio telescope. Which is very useful because then we can use South Africa's MeerKAT radio telescope to look at it. So why do we actually care about hydrogen gas in galaxies? It's because it's kind of like the fuel for a galaxy. So, you know, if you're driving your car and you run out of fuel, well, your car's going to stop. You can think of the movement of the car like the formation of new stars, right? So because stars are formed from big clouds of hydrogen gas, right? So if you don't have any more hydrogen gas left in the galaxy, you can't form any more stars. And we then call the galaxy red because the stars that were younger and bluer turn red. So we call it red, and dead because it's not forming any more stars, right? But there's another aspect, right, which is the supermassive black hole at the centers of these galaxies. Sometimes stuff can fall into these supermassive black holes. Don't worry, black holes are not like infinite vacuum cleaners just going to sucking us all in. We're inevitably going to be sucked into a black hole. That's not real. But sometimes stuff can get sucked into them if it's pushed in by some sort of weird gravity movement reason. And then this gas, like hydrogen gas basically, can fall onto the black hole. So the black hole essentially is feeding, it's growing as it's doing this. And as this happens, it causes this kind of like rave party to occur. It's flashing at all different types of light, huge amounts of energy. It's pretty much one of the most energetic processes that can happen in the universe. And when that happens, we call the galaxy active, right? We say it's an active galactic nucleus because G for galaxy, galactic, A for active, and N for nucleus because this all happens at the very center of the galaxy, right? So AGN, active galactic nucleus, meaning the black hole is switched on and is guzzling fuel, guzzling hydrogen, right? When it does that, it can sometimes cause this because it's releasing so much energy in this rave party, that can actually heat up the gas in the rest of the galaxy, you know, far away from the nucleus, far away from the center. It can heat it up, it can blow it out, and therefore there's no more cold gas left in the galaxy, right? So what do you think that does then?
Kills the galaxy.
Right. Yeah. So it switches off the star formation. It also prevents the black hole itself from accreting any more gas, from any more gas falling onto it, right? So it stops itself from...
ejected its fuel.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Bad planning.
Exactly. And so there's this connection between gas, AGN activity, the supermassive black hole activity, and the formation of stars in the galaxy, right? So my research is trying to figure out how these things are all connected by using the MeerKAT radio telescope to make observations, to look at stuff in the sky and say, okay, well, that's our idea, that's our model, that's what we believe is happening. Do we have observational evidence of this? And how does this change over the history of the universe, right? Because as we look deeper into space, we're looking back in time, we can see galaxies as they used to be earlier on in the history of the universe, and they look quite different. So it's only with telescopes like MeerKAT and then in the future with SKA that we're going to be able to see this light, this faint glow of hydrogen in these distant galaxies, and then also see how their supermassive black holes are behaving and how much stars they're forming, and therefore get this idea about the galaxy evolution and how all of these are tied together, and get that observational evidence. So that's what my whole team, Radiance, is doing. And to do that, that's a massive project. That's obviously not something we can just do by ourselves. And so we work as part of big international collaborations. And so we work as part of two in particular. One is called Laduma, which we've spoken about before on this podcast. We chatted with Associate Professor Sarah Blythe, who is one of the principal investigators of that. That's mainly looking at this hydrogen gas very, very far away, the glow of this hydrogen gas far away. And then we also work in this other big collaboration called MIGHTY, which is another contrived acronym. I think it stands for like the MeerKAT International Gigahertz Tiered Extragalactic Exploration Survey.
We'll allow it.
Thank you. Save your applause for later, please. And yeah, so a lot of that the MIGHTY team is actually based at the University of Oxford, which is why I took my research group there to just meet the experts, work with them for 2 weeks, and pump out a lot of research about both this hydrogen gas and active galactic nucleus and star formation. So that is a very long answer to your question, Simi.
Yeah.
So about what Radiance stands for, what kind of science we do, and why we were in Oxford.
And presumably, I mean, you mentioned that your whole team's working on it, but now all of your students, you've got 5 students, each of them get given some sort of subset of this problem to work on.
Yeah, exactly. So there was, I think, four of the students managed to come to Oxford. So that was Leyya Stockenstroom was one of them, and she works on detecting the glow of hydrogen with the Laduma survey out to large distances in the universe, larger than has ever been done before. And then we have Ndivhuwo Netshiavha, and he's working on something called giant radio galaxies, where a radio galaxy is an AGN, like we were just talking about, that supermassive black hole. But in this case, you've got these kind of like, what would you call them, like jets or beams of radio light coming, like 2 of them in opposite directions from the black hole. We don't know why some AGN have these like radio beams and others don't, but when they do, they're called radio galaxies. And sometimes these beams can extend so far out into space, like tens of times the size of the Milky Way.
Sure.
That they're called giant radio galaxies. Now, where that boundary between normal, quote unquote, radio galaxies and giant radio galaxies exists is somewhat arbitrary, but we used to think that these giant radio galaxies were very rare. Turns out now it's kind of not. We just couldn't see them because our telescopes weren't sensitive enough.
Yeah.
And if you've listened to the previous one of the previous episodes, episode 77, we were actually talking with Kathleen Charlton, who is another master's student of mine, and she's recently published this press release on her study of a particular giant radio galaxy called Nkatazo, which apparently means Zulu.
Which is
which is apparently Zulu for the word trouble. And because it basically, you'll have to listen to the episode, but it didn't behave the way we thought it would, and she spent her whole honors and masters like banging her head against the wall being like, why is there so much trouble? Why won't it just do what it's meant to do? But when you find something that doesn't match what you expect, actually that's where you get new science, right? So then we ended up doing this nice big press release. So if you go back to listen to episode 77, you'll hear all about that. So Kathleen was in Oxford as well, working on this, as well as another project she has on hydrogen absorption, where instead of looking at the glow of hydrogen, she's looking at the shadow of hydrogen, where there's a bright light shining from behind, which is actually a very distant AGN, radio galaxy. It's creating a shadow as the light comes through either the gas in the galaxy that the AGN is inside, or other galaxies, it creates this like little dip in the amount of light. And she's trying to use the MeerKAT telescope to study that. And then, she was also working on these giant radio galaxies. Ndivhuwo, or as I said, also working on these giant radio galaxies. He's found, I think, like 16 or something in this mighty data. And then we have Tumelo Mangena, who is my part-time PhD student, who also works full-time as a software engineer at the South African Radio Astronomy Observatory, just because, he doesn't have enough challenges in his life. No, he's doing a great job. He's working on trying to, similar to Leyya, but using some different techniques to try and detect very, very faint signals of hydrogen. And then what his work is quite interesting, because he's trying to actually find the hydrogen within AGN. And as we said, we don't think there is much because it's usually blown it all out. But maybe this changes if you look further away back into the history of the universe. Maybe the gas was still there. So that's what he's trying to do it there. And just a little shout out to Cale Boys, who started his master's too late to be able to join us at Oxford. But hopefully we'll be going to Australia with him later this year, so he will get a trip. But anyway, he's working on, we've actually got some of our own MeerKAT data. It's not part of a big collaboration, looking at these two nearby galaxies. And I always forget their names. They've got these boring catalogue names like DDO 73, blah, blah, blah. I just call them Dodo and Nigel because I don't know what else to call them. I don't know where those names came from.
Yeah, they might stick.
Yeah, but anyway, funny you should use the word stick. They're actually sticking together.
Good link.
With gravity. They're interacting with each other. Just in case. And so this is like ripping off the hydrogen gas from each of the galaxies, and it's interacting and it's causing this huge mess. And so Cale's master's project is about studying this huge mess and trying to see what on earth is going on. So it's actually a really cool project, and we've just been getting some exciting results in the last few days. So hopefully we'll have a chat with him later, but unfortunately he missed out on this trip and this episode. So
I'm sure there'll be other opportunities for him.
Yeah, so we'll be hearing today from Leyya, Ndivhuwo and Tumelo. When I chatted with them at Oxford, I chatted separately with Kathleen because she had to leave early, and that interview we played in episode 77. So it's just the three of them in this episode.
Your students touched on something quite, I think, prevalent for all academics during their interviews there. They talked about the feeling of imposter syndrome at Oxford, and realizing, wow, these students at Oxford are just students like me. They also have no idea what's going on and are running around, being stressed and so on. So I just wanted to ask about that a bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm glad that they brought that up, and it is something that I try and raise awareness with as much as possible. So I'm glad that they all know the term imposter syndrome, right? It's the thought that of everyone in the room, you're the actual imposter, right? You don't deserve to be there. You don't have any idea of what's going on. Any moment now, someone's going to realize that you have no idea what you're doing and you shouldn't really be there. And you're going to be tapped on the shoulder and be like, sorry, we actually made a mistake. You're not really meant to be here. You're kind of taking this place of someone who deserves it more. Can you please go? And when I learned about this term when I was a PhD student, I was sitting in the audience being like, no, I get that. Everyone feels that, but I'm the real imposter.
Yeah, but you don't understand. It's different for me.
But I'm actually the real imposter. And then the lecturer said, raise your hand if you're thinking that you're the actual real imposter. And I was like, and so did everybody else. And I was like, see? And so I'm trying to raise awareness with the next generation that, that's just, it's paralyzing sometimes, and it affects everyone. It also disproportionately affects women, and particularly women of color. And so trying to raise awareness of this kind of in everyone. And because a lot of the time it's a stumbling block where we're getting in our own way. We don't believe in ourselves, and so we sell ourselves short. Maybe these students would never have thought to apply to go and visit Oxford because I don't belong there. But they do. Everybody does. If, they really got to the position of master or PhD, they deserve to be there. There are students in Oxford who are masters or PhD. Why on earth should they not be talking to each other, right? And so I think that's what they learned from this experience. And I'm really proud of all of them for just pushing past their fear and that imposter syndrome to go there anyway. And they really, really made the most of that opportunity. I was really proud of them. They spoke with everyone. They spoke with Jocelyn Bell, Vanel,
nice.
the discoverer of pulsars. We just walked into her office and was like, hi, Jocelyn, can I introduce my students to you? I did the same with Brian Schmidt, who was actually visiting there at the time. I was like, yo, Brian, can I just bring my entire research group in? He's like, sure, Jacinta. And he brought them all in. And then after that, we all met and I was like, Brian, right. No, actually, before I brought my students in, I heard that Brian was in the end office. So I just waltzed in there, knock on the door. I'm like, hi, Brian. He hasn't seen me for 12 years. I don't know if he remembers who I am or anything, but I just played it real cool. And I was like, so Brian, I hear that you're coming to the IAUGA in Cape Town later this year. We're going to be doing a Cosmic Savannah live show and we're going to need you to be the guest, okay? And then I just keep going and you can see him processing, who is this person? Completely out of context. Because, we know each other from Australia. Now we're both in Oxford randomly, not knowing that each other were there and just haven't seen each other for 12 years. And he's processing. And then he's like, okay, Jacinta. I love that. There you go. You got it right.
Yeah, smart guy.
Anyway, so I just strong-armed him into our live show, which was brilliant. He was fantastic.
He was, yeah.
Thank you, Brian. Shout out. Anyway, so it was really awesome for the students to just you just walk down the street and you see these Nobel laureates and all of these prominent people. So it was quite overwhelming, but they really... by the end, they really felt like they deserved to be there. And that was awesome, really awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's particularly, it's probably true in many different fields, but it seems like it's particularly prevalent in academia.
Oh, yeah.
And I think part of the reason is because you're pushing yourself, right? You're at the boundary of knowledge.
If you're in an academic environment, almost by definition, these are going to be the top 1% to 2% of people who are the smartest in that field in the world.
But you're also
right?
you're asking questions which don't have answers.
Yeah.
That's why you're asking the questions.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, you're expected to know the answer to this, or your brain is well, you should know. It's like, how should you know?
How should you know?
No one knows. So it's
It's not a dumb question. It's a question that no one knows the answer to.
Exactly. Yeah.
But touching on that you said about this is the top 1% smartest people probably at Oxford as well, because fairly prestigious institution.
Older than the Aztec pyramids.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
It's been said.
By Daniel.
Yeah. But you kind of touched on it, that your students as well said that it's kind of nice to go to a place like that, because all of these names in these papers that you've been doing, if you've ever done a lit review, you read all of these papers and you see these names come up all the time. And now you just go, oh, they're them. In their office. You can walk and go,
exactly.
Hi.
And they're just people.
Never met your heroes. Is that good thing, bad thing? I don't know. No, it was really funny. So one of my students mentioned to me, I got to sit next to Whittam the whole time. And this is because it was the author of the paper. Whittam
Oh, that's Emmy.
Do they call him Whittam et al.?
Almost.
Just since the analogy that you just gave about rave.
The rave party.
Yeah. I'm sorry to say this, but the lights shining on both your heads look like that.
A rave party?
I don't know if it's coming out in the camera,
Yeah.
but you guys are both glowing purple.
Oh, is
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Cosmic Savannah
Yeah,
colours.
you put a purple halo around your head, Francois. I like it. Do I have a halo?
Yeah,
you do.
I like it.
Yeah.
Good. Hi, camera.
Oh boy.
As you can see.
Put me in front of a camera and I'll do.
And I'm the one with the big head.
But I think this was also such great exposure for your students who've never even been out of the country to not only be out of the country, but also meet people who can, influence their work, and they can talk confidently now about their work with others as well. So where are your students at the moment?
Thank you for asking. I'm so proud of my little babies, my little proto-astronomers. No, so Leyya has actually finished her master's now. So congratulations to her. And she'll be graduating in September. So she's my first graduate. And Ndivhuwo is just about to submit his master's thesis. In fact, probably would already have done so if I had not been recording all day today for this podcast, because he needs me to sign off on his thesis. So, and then both of them have scholarships to start their PhDs with me later in the year.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
So I'll have
you
3
can't,
PhDs.
you can't be too bad if they're sticking
Well,
around.
I mean, I can't figure out whether I just coerce them into it or like, Stockholm syndrome or something. But no, I'm very excited about that. And I mentioned that I've got a new student, Kale. Kathleen is also finishing up her master's. She's got until the end of the year, but I'm pretty sure she's going to finish by like June or July. Yeah. She's doing a great job. And then she'll go on to a PhD somewhere. She's currently applying for positions, and Tumelo is still working on his part-time PhD and doing full-time work and all of these things. So we're getting on. So
Nice.
enjoying it.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah. That is it for today. Thank you very much for listening, and we hope you'll join us again for the next episode of The Cosmic Savannah.
You can visit our website, thecosmicsavannah.com, where we'll have the transcript, links, pictures, and other stuff related to today's episode.
You can follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Cosmic Savannah. That's Savannah spelled SAVANNAH. You can also find us on YouTube, where you can also see us now, where we will post our audio and video only episodes with closed captions that can be auto-translated into many different languages, including Afrikaans, isiXhosa, isiZulu.
Special thanks today to Tumelo Mangena, Leyya Stockenstroom, and Ndivhuwo Netshiavha for speaking with us.
Thanks to our podcast manager, Francois Camphor, our social media manager, Sumari Hatting, Abigail Thamaran for transcription, Shaman Daman for website updates, Emil Meinkes for video creation, and to the whole Cosmic Savannah volunteer team.
Thanks also to Mark Allnut for music production, Brian Masamala and Miha Wechek for photography, Carl Jones for astrophotography, and Susie Karras for graphic design.
We gratefully acknowledge support from the South African National Research Foundation, the Square Kilometre Array Observatory, the South African Agency of Science and Technology Advancement, the South African Astronomical Observatory, the University of Cape Town Astronomy Department, and One Button Studios at UCT.
You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And we'd really appreciate it if you could rate and review us and recommend us to a friend.
And we'll speak to you next time on The Cosmic Savannah.
All right.
I think we should probably end there today.
Yeah. We always get to the end of the episode and we're just like, what do we say? We have nothing more to talk about, so I think
Luckily,
we'll
we
call
wrote
that a day.
something down.
Yeah, that's great.
It's been how many years and we still don't remember any of this script.
One day
Yeah,
we
I
should
know.
just sit down and not have the script and see if we can do it.
No, we can't.
But that day is not today.
Welcome to the Cosmic Savannah with Francois Camphor.
Dr. Jacinta Delhaize.
Dr. Daniel Kanama.
And Dr. Siamiso Makwela.
So many doctors.
I think we should.
I love that.
I think you have to say Mr. or something. Or we have to all get rid of the doctor. Thanks to our podcast manager, Francois Camphor, who's here with us. Thanks, Francois.
Should take him out of the credits.
Yeah.
No, we're not in the credits. Thanks to us.
Yeah.
You can follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Cosmic Savannah. That's Savannah spelled.
That's Cosmic, spelled
That's Cosmic.
S-A-V-A.
Yes.